Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of March 2nd of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door to your left. Please silence all cell phones. Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Here.
Councilman DeSena?
Here.
Councilman Cummings?
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Here.
Council President Feeney?
Here. Please note, please let the record reflect Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Power, and Township Clerk Wachowski also in attendance. This evening, we were supposed to have a presentation from Freeholder Ortiz in regards to the census, but unfortunately, she's sick, so we're actually going to have the census presentation next week. Next meeting, sorry, for March 16th, it's scheduled. Okay, no approval of the minutes. Mayor Calamari, we're going to have your report.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. My report tonight is somewhat abbreviated due to a couple of personal things that distracted me during the past week. First and foremost, it's my, I announce with great sadness the passing of Scott Spezial, a former councilman here and a longtime football coach for the town. He'll be greatly missed. If you want to see a little more about his life history, we have a little something on the website that will tell you about him. Second is on March 15th, there is a charity event at the high school for Michael Global. He is the person who got killed in, I believe, Afghanistan. I hope I have that right. On to some better news. My old Boy Scout Troop 321 placed first in the Klondike Derby this year, so congrats to them on the accomplishment. April 5th is the pancake breakfast at the firehouse. Please turn out if you can. It should be the last one they have in this firehouse, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of reminiscing and storytelling going on. For those of you who may not be aware yet, we are changing the recycling dates in town to Wednesdays instead of Fridays. The first change is this coming Wednesday, March 4th, will be the northeast zone, and then all the other zones will be on March 11th. Was my pleasure to put in a couple hours with the green team on Saturday for their Martini Park cleanup. It was great to see the people out there. We collected 17 bags of brush, debris, etc. And let me give a shout out to the neighbors. It was nice to see them come out, supply us with some snacks, beverages, so we thank them for that. Last but not least, stopped in at Dairy Queen yesterday because I saw their signs were down. They expect to be open before this coming weekend if they get all their inspections. If not, they said the beginning of next week. So I'm sure a lot of people in town are looking forward to that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Report of the council. Myself, Council President, I had a few things that the mayor actually spoke about already, so I'm going to defer to our Council Vice President, Mr. Cummings.
Yes, good evening. Very, very short report tonight because of personal matters, same as the mayor, but different ones, different family. I got a call this afternoon, late this afternoon, from Wildan Engineering, who is the people who were responsible for the conversion of all our lighting to LEDs at a grant rate of 70% from Public Service, Electric, and Gas. And they are opening up the grant again for another 6 months with new funds. And I will, as I have sought the mayor's permission and approval previously, gone around to the 501c corporations in town and such as the churches, and checked with them to see if they can do the same kind of conversion under a grant from PSE&G for their benefit. that was very exciting news that I got directly from Wildan this afternoon. So if you know of a place such as OLGC, which is big locally, I will be going around, and you can contact me through the council email and suggest another one, if there is another one. I don't want to miss anybody. We've got 6 months, so I need to get the word out to all of our good Washington Township neighbors. Unfortunately, it's not available to we individuals. But that's all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Councilman Casio.
We have a big agenda tonight, so I'm going to have no report tonight.
Councilman DeSena.
Thank you. Just a few quick things. Some of us volunteer and some of us really volunteer. Scott Spezial volunteered a lot of his time, lots of thousands of hours to our children and to our programs, and he's going to be sorely missed. And, you know, that's all I want to say about it. That's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Morgan.
Councilwoman. Sure. Stigma Free met on Tuesday, February 25th. We set some goals for 2020 as well as future meeting dates. Those dates can be found on the Stigma Free Facebook page along with upcoming events and community information. We're also, through Stigma Free, we're in the process of organizing available classes for our first responders to be mental health first aid trained, starting with the police department. So more to come on that. Northwest Bergen Regional Health Commission has posted updates on the coronavirus on their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/NWBRHC. They update it as new information comes through from the New Jersey Department of Health and the CDC, and also on our town webpage.
Thank you. I'm going to read the public service announcements for March 2nd, 2020. Recycling day change. In an effort to better service the residents of Washington Township, our curbside recycling hauler has requested a new pickup day. To minimize weekend activity conducted by Bulldo in the township, they have requested that Wednesday become our new recycling pickup day. This change will become effective as of March 4th, which is this Wednesday, right? This Wednesday, I believe, 2020, starting with the northeast zone, followed by the northwest and south zone on March 11th, 2020. Veterans Mission Acts, urgent care benefits and urgent care locations and pharmacy information is now posted on our website under Health Department. Pet licensing, the late fee of $25 is now in effect. Census 2020, in mid-March, households will begin receiving official Census Bureau mail with detailed information on how to respond to this 2020 census. If anyone is interested in joining the 2020 census team, please call 1-855-562-2020 or log on to 2020census.org/jobs. Sign up for township email notices by texting the word township to 22828 and entering your email address. And again, please visit the website for updated coronavirus information. General public discussion, which has a limit of 5 minutes. Motion to open the public discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody from the public like to come up?
Hi. Denise Levy, 280 West Place, and
Can you talk into the microphone?
Sure.
Is it on?
I have no idea.
Yes,
It's
it is on.
Why, nobody can hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear
You're
me?
I
fine.
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I couldn't even hear them, Holly.
Oh, okay, I think it's on.
Because I don't hear it coming out of the speakers.
I think they're on. They
They're
did
on.
come down and
It's
check.
working.
They're on.
It's working. Let's go ahead.
Okay, Denise Levy, 280 West Place, and forgive me because I haven't been in past meetings, but I don't know if we could talk about it, but I've been looking online and just things I've been hearing, because we are the last house on the cul-de-sac of West Place, right behind the pool, right in front of the pool. So I was wondering if anybody can share any information about what's going on, or would we be notified? I mean, we're thinking of putting on an addition, and quite honestly, I'm not even sure if I would continue with something if there was going to be a recycling center there. Would anybody be able to talk about it, or how would I find out?
I believe at this time has been no final decision on that, but I can take your question. I'll confirm with all avenues, and we'll get back to you with a final answer, if that would be okay. Could you?
Leave a phone number?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
We'll give it to her after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't want,
So is there any information I can read somewhere? I've been trying
There's
to
no-
look online.
there actually is no information at the present time of exactly what the plan is. There
Do-
hasn't been a decision made yet.
So just you guys make the decision, nobody in town makes the decision? I don't know how it works.
So, can you,
Well, I mean,
well, I think she's about the DMF possibly moving to the swim club.
okay, well, I mean,
Who makes the decisions is your
I mean,
question.
ultimately, the council makes the decision of whether to acquire property and doing things of that nature. But as the council president says, I mean, there is no plans to report or to talk about.
At the,
So-
at this exact
Yeah, at
moment,
this
right?
time. So, you know, there was a closed session, or at least one or two, and though, that's where the council gets the opportunity to explore things and discuss things.
Are you open to
But,
ideas or anything?
but I mean, no decisions are generally made. and I-
Absolutely open to ideas.
yeah.
If you have any ideas.
Well, we lived in Paramus before we came here, and I know Paramus does a lot of shared services, and they do them very well, from picking up garbage to cleaning streets to snow removal to everything. Could be an option.
Okay, thank you.
Ramsey is a beautiful pool, it's run very well, they get grant money, and they make money.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, all of those things, yes, we are, all the items you've brought, we are discussing, but again, no decision has been made at all.
And you have no timeline, right?
Not at the present moment, no, but we do need to do something in the immediate future. But as of this council meeting, we don't have a final decision or a plan.
Okay, I'll leave my name and number.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you,
Mrs. Feeney, can we just iterate that we do not own the swim club? It is a private organization.
Okay. They
So-
own the land?
They own the land. We do not own the land.
Oh. That I didn't know. I thought
Okay.
they leased the land from you.
No, they do not. It's their land.
So that you would consider buying it?
I
it's
would-
not for
no.
discussion at the present time, so it's not, there's no definitive plan for that as of right now.
But we do not own it, so.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my email address.
Okay.
It's .org, right? And I'll give you my cell phone number. Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for coming out. I don't have cards yet, so that's why I'm writing it down.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have anything else, or? Mrs. Levy, did you have anything else?
Oh,
or-
I'm so sorry.
No, that's
No,
okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to, oh, sorry.
Testing. Okay. I want to speak about, see how you can hear that?
Yes.
They don't speak, and neither do any of you speak into the microphone. It's like you're far off.
Rosa, can you state
I
your name?
wanna
and-
speak about-
Rosa,
What?
can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, I was just going to do that. Rosa Dambra, 423 Colonial Boulevard.
Thank you.
I want to speak about the calendar. I did not receive a calendar, and neither did a couple of neighbors on Colonial Boulevard. I had to go up to the town hall, which is here, and Bernadette gave me a couple of calendars. Number two, since the Suffolkowoods of administration, we had a better calendar. I don't know who's in the police department, who's in the fire department, who's the ambulance corps. We're paying taxes. We should have this in the calendar.
And thank you
The
very much.
last time it was in the calendar was (2017). Janet Sofkowitz was the mayor, Robert Bruno was a council president, Michael Ullman, of course, our mayor now, Steve Cassio, and Thomas Sears. We have to do something better with this calendar. There's too much this, and that on it. We don't need all this, and that. We want to know as taxpayers who our fire department is, our police department, and also our ambulance corps.
Rosa, can I just give you, we did ask them They were asked last year if they would like to be in the calendar, and they actually asked to not be in the calendar for this year.
Why not?
I actually don't know why not, but I could find out.
I mean, we should know who these people are. I know of the ambulance corps volunteer, and so is the fire department.
Yes, correct.
I mean, I'm sure they're not hiding anything.
I believe it's probably more of a privacy issue than.
That's a privacy issue?
Well,
If
maybe
they
to
live in
them.
town. I mean, that's ridiculous. Can Mr. Parler, our executive attorney, give me a little of head start on this?
Well, whether somebody has to disclose who they are and
I mean-
information?
They're not criminals. I mean, they're working to help us, and we should know
Absolutely.
who they are. If I see them in the street, I mean, who are you? Really? I think you should check into that. We had it.
Okay.
We had it once for years, even with the Rutzel administration.
Yes, you are
even
correct.
With even
Yes.
with Stapleton administration.
Yes, you are
and I
correct.
can prove it. I got every calendar.
I absolutely agree with you.
I have a
100%.
file better than the FBI. Now, I want to ask you about this criminal background check.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who is it going to involve?
Anybody who volunteers and is going to be working with the children in town.
Okay. It has nothing to do with the ambulance corps,
No, ma'am.
nothing to do with the fire department,
No, ma'am.
and of course, nothing to do with the police department.
Well, I believe the police department, they do have background checks, yes.
Okay.
Actually, Ms. D'Ambra, as per JIF policy, it will include all volunteers. So
But sometimes that doesn't prove anything.
As per the JIF policy, all our employees that work for the Township of Washington are in front of the public, so they need to be background checked also.
Okay. So, I mean, how can I get a list? I mean, it can't be Privacy Act because they live in town. They're helping
Well, now you have two
us.
separate.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to,
No, I was saying, the list of volunteers is one thing, but all employees of the township need to have a background check done also, as per JIF. I was on the phone with them yesterday.
okay. So, I mean, can I get that on the computer? Go to the
That's-
library?
I do not believe the list of volunteers that were for the rec department are going to be online. But the volunteer ambulance members are online, and so are our fire department members.
But it is
and-
it is the mayor, the administration's responsibility, as per JIF, to make sure that every volunteer and every employee that work for the township have a background check done. That is their policy. We are not in compliance with it, and as Mrs. Sweeney has said, we are going to be in compliance with it. So we need to dot all our i's and cross all our t's.
But since you people get paid, you are not on this list
On what list is that?
to get a criminal background check.
So are you talking about the?
I will be.
Are you talking about what's on the agenda for this evening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hearing on that. Is that the ordinance that we're talking about?
Yeah, the ordinance.
Well, there's a special, it's a second reading, so you'll actually have a hearing to come up and talk about that
What?
specifically.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, that's up for a second reading, so there'll be a special public session dealing with that
That's-
ordinance and any issues regarding that ordinance. So you probably should hold that till that time and then come back up.
But I think that you should check into seeing change in the calendar and make sure that the people in town are getting these calendars.
I'm very
Because it
sorry you
seems
did not
like
get one.
this, I hope the post office isn't dumping them, because that's big money we're paying.
No, you're absolutely right. We should absolutely inquire with
I
the
mean, you could talk to
postmaster.
Bernadette, she can tell you I was up there.
Okay, I absolutely will, and I'll check with the postmaster to
I mean,
confirm
there's
that they're
no
delivering the
reason
calendars.
for me to go up to the town to get a calendar that you people mail out in bulk mail.
You're right.
They're disappearing.
You're right. I will check with the postmaster myself, and I will let you know.
I hope so, because when Mr. Schroeder was here, he checked with the postmaster.
Okay.
I mean, he did that job.
Did a lot of jobs.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Would anybody else like to come up?
Hi, Michael Avlai, 85 Salem Road. I'm on the agenda. I don't know if it's my first time here. I don't know if I come and speak up now or I wait for the agenda item.
This is the road opening.
Yeah, I'm just getting my conference agenda out.
No, he's on the agenda for road opening permit, right?
Right. Which address, I'm sorry?
85 Salem Road.
If you'd like to say something now, that would be fine.
Sure. So first time here, new resident, bought the property, distressed property for 12 years, bought it back in August. Have to do lots of work on the house. Basically, it's gutted, everything. Spending a lot of time there. I have a full-time job. When I finish, get dressed in these nasty, dirty clothes and work there, 5 hours a night. And then on the weekend, like 10, 12 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Wanted to get my gas turned on from PSE&G. Started the process in October. Called them up. They gave me this long-winded answer as to why they couldn't turn it on. Then they said, okay, it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks. No problem, we'll turn it on. Waited 6 to 8 weeks. Some guy came and he said, oh, sorry, it's cut off at the streets. Now you have to fill some piece of paper out and you have to get a permit.
PSE&G said it's at the street, that's why you have to go to the next
PSE&G.
step. Okay.
And then they said, okay, now it's going to take another 6 to 8 weeks and I have to get all my permits, which I did. Got them approved, everything. Then I had to pay $500 and then got that approved. Then PSE&G, waiting and waiting. Then they say, all this started back in October. Then PSE&G says, oh, sorry, Township has this ordinance that we can't do anything on the street from November to April. And then at that point, I lost it because I started this back in October. The first 6 to 8 weeks, I had to wait for something. Then another 6 to 8 weeks, I had to wait something. And now where I'm like finally ready to get some gas in the house so I could A, test everything, and B, it's cold working in there,
Yes.
I'm asking, the council to have some empathy and some sympathy and, just please if I could get that approved so they could open up the street so I get the gas, I have everything ready to go, and I just want some gas in my house. It's cold working in there.
Do you have a date from PSE&G if it's approved tonight to move forward with PSE&G? Or do
So
you have
this-
to get this approved and then they'll give you a date?
This has been escalated up to executive management. I even have executive management who's been in contact with me because of the long-winded process. And they said if they approve it, they could get me on the schedule ASAP.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's perfect to know, and then it's on our conference agenda if you saw on the, and I think at that point but thank you very much for letting us know what's going on.
Okay, so what I do?
You have to wait for the conference agenda.
Just wait for the conference agenda.
Okay, that's today? Or?
Yeah, it's tonight. It's on, if you take a schedule that's on there, it's on, if you look on the back, it says conference agenda.
Okay, I guess I'll just wait then.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for coming up. Would anybody else like to come up? Mr. Conti.
Anthony Conti, 49 David Boulevard North. Actually, I didn't have anything this evening until Ms. Levy came up and talked about the swim club. And I'm curious to know, you said that there's nothing set in stone yet, or nothing happened, or whatever the situation is. But I sent you guys an email last week from the swim club where they said that they're in some sort of negotiation with you, and based on that, they're already lowering the rates for members.
So I did see your statement.
Yes.
I did see the statement that you sent us
Email,
from.
right.
However, the council is not agreeing or disagreeing with what they're saying, because again, we don't have any plans.
So
So they made that statement on their own.
Okay, so they're telling members things, but nothing has transpired.
Unfortunately, we
To this
cannot
point.
control what they,
No, I got you.
yeah, but
I
we
know.
don't have anything at the time, at this
Okay.
current time. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
It's like the Boldo message too. They sent it out without us knowing. Also, they sent that message without us.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, just crazy. By the way, can we rent property like that if we not that that's what you're doing.
Do you
But
mean the town can rent the
Can
property?
the town rent the property from the swim club to put something there? Or does the town have to acquire the property? I mean, what,
Could be either way.
It could be either way.
The town could acquire it and use it, or it could enter into a lease if it wanted to. There's provision for that.
So, all right, so.
I'm not
so-
saying they're going to.
No,
I'm
I
just
got
saying,
you.
generally speaking.
I got you.
can.
So would you look at properties we own already before using Treasure to rent it? Or would you just use our tax money to rent property?
First of all, I would look at, I'm not the one that looks at the
I
property.
got you.
That's number one.
I
But
got
number two, I mean, you definitely putting the cart before the horse. I mean, it's clear there is no plan. That we can tell you. I mean, I don't know what kind of
It's a
impression
good
you're
option
getting.
you bring up, I think
There's
is,
no plan.
right, so I think that's a good option you bring up, but again, there is absolutely, there's no definitive, there's no plan, there's no timeline at this moment.
Nothing.
So,
Okay.
but I did see your, I thought that
No,
was
well,
interesting that they sent that letter
When I
out.
got that, I was like, you know, what did the town do behind my back? So I was like.
Nothing.
That's all. All
I
right.
was surprised to see that line in there also.
Okay, thank you.
Would anybody else, Mr. Durso? Oh,
Joe Durso, 12 Viola Terrace. Three things real quick. The zoning board is on your conference. Is there plans to talk about that tonight and
the
pick?
plan
or
is to
just
vote tonight.
Vote, so, because I know there's a few people here, including myself, all right, so you're going to discuss it, and that's like the third thing on your, okay, that's fine. With what Mr. Conti said and Mrs. Levy, the swim club, I know you can't talk about it, and he brought up other properties in town, and, yeah, you know, I think it would be great, if you're gonna, I know you can't talk about it, but.
There isn't anything, the
There's
problem
other-
is there isn't anything to talk
I
about.
know, there's other properties in town, and I know I've been down this road, and I said Sherry Field, if you're gonna do something temporarily, that's the key word, I guess nobody wants a DPW temporary shed in their backyard or near there, I get it, you know, I can hear it, I live a couple blocks on the other side of Oratani, and, you know, I hear the noise, but I get their concerns, but an idea, you know, just, you know, maybe a temporary Quonset hut, like I said, maybe down there, out of the way, you know, and maybe it'll work out in the future. We're a better idea, where maybe you acquire the swim club, and maybe this, and maybe that, and put housing up on the one side, and another field on the other side, and yada, yada. So, just a thought. And I thought about it since 2010, but that's besides the point. Nothing happens quick in this town. Question to the mayor, if I may?
Why don't you direct it to
I'll
me,
direct
and
it
then
to you.
if we don't mind.
I see on the closed session, COA. Can you explain, because I know Viviano is not, that's the American Dream. That's not technically part of our COA obligation now, but what is Franklin?
Okay, I'll answer.
That's up there on Van Emberg, though, correct?
Franklin is on Van Emberg. If you go up Washington, you make a right.
Okay, so that's
By
by,
Fillmore.
all right, then that's what I am talking, okay, so, all right, I was confused, because I know, so there's only, how many housing's gonna be there? Or,
I believe it
38?
was 37 units, or
I think it's in the low 40s.
44 units, or something along that.
I'm not saying it's not a bad spot. I feel bad for people on Fillmore. I think there's 7 houses. Are they aware of what's going on? Were the neighbors even notified of that?
Well,
I mean, I know
it
one
was-
person.
It was publicized tremendously. You know, people were here, you know, for presentations. I mean, it's,
No, I know.
Can't be a secret. There was advertisement for the fairness hearing. I mean.
Well, you know what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us stay, there's
Yes.
maybe 12 of us in town that stay in tune, and, you know, the rest find out, like, when,
When it happens.
you know,
When it happens.
when it's going down, but that's fine, but I guess the other problem is, we all know about Viviano, that property is gonna be developed. Van Emberg is a horrible, horrible street. I know, again, it doesn't affect me per se, and I'll lead back to what I spoke to you guys again about at the budget meeting. You know, we can't beat it, but you really need to hopefully reschedule a meeting like we talked about with NJTA to help us get an exit opened up on the Parkway. But, I mean, that's, you said at the mayor's meeting that we did overlay properties. I was at that planning board meeting a couple years ago. You classified Stone Mill Gardens and you classified Bethany because you like you said, I mean, in hopes that they would never get sold and be developed. But in the interim, we knew that we had a designated piece of land at that point, and we knew Viviano, we couldn't put affordable housing on Viviano's property because we already met our obligation over the years, right?
Viviano was the subject of a settlement agreement.
Right,
So
yeah.
you can't, you know,
can't
it's
discuss
not, it wasn't in place, so to speak, to come up with a plan.
Right, and that's the money that we sent for years to the state to offset our housing?
Well, no, actually, we got money from Washington Grand to pay for the affordable units in Bayonne.
Right.
The RCA's. And we will get money from the building of units at Viviana that will go into the trust fund for affordable housing.
Right.
That's how that's-
I kind of get it. You know, you did explain it to me for years.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
always
It's not
foggy
the-
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, you know, you and former mayor, you know, explained it to the best of your knowledge to us or what you wanted us to know, and I get it. You know, it's, but.
I don't want to say it to the best you want to know. I'm explaining to you what it is. I
Well,
mean,
we put
I
a break for 8 years because Governor Christie put a freeze on it, and we just had to let it wait and sit.
Yeah,
And
well-
now we're phased. See, my problem is, and I've said this again, I know you guys don't like social media, and I don't blame you. You're elected officials, but my problem is, maybe we had an opportunity with, and some people say like sacrilegious or whatever, but the temple was being sold.
Mr. Durso, you are at 5 minutes, just so you know.
Come on, Rose talked for 7. I counted.
You want to tell Rose that she has time up, that you could do that.
All
I'll
right,
give
but
you
only
my
say-
stopwatch.
I know it's over with, but there's no, I mean, there was a good opportunity to isolate that as your COA obligation. It's on the outskirts of town, and it leads to an area where, it's not like Van Emberg, there's so much traffic that's gonna go on Van Emberg.
Okay, I just want to say, and I'm sure you know this is nothing different, but, you know, the Supreme Court made its ruling, all the towns, and we're not the only one, every town in the entire state
I know.
went to court, and there's a court master that gets appointed, and so we lose a certain amount, a fair amount of control. It's not like, oh, we pass a zoning ordinance, or we see a great piece of property, we say that's enough. There's obligations that we have to do, the court master is really in charge, they report back to the court. Fair share housing is a party to the action. So it isn't that, oh, this is a great piece of property, we'll do that. And as far as Viviana is concerned, you know, Viviana was resolved in 1990, it started litigating, I think, in 1998 and settled in
I'm all aware.
2000.
I know.
And I will tell you this, I mean, you have to recognize that through all the councils and all the mayors of this town, that Mount Laurel has been in effect since 1972. How many Mount Laurel units have been put up in this town?
Not many, 0.
So
you're right.
You know, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of strategy, a lot of effort goes into insulating Washington Township and minimizing the impact of the town, the people, the schools, the services, everything.
Right.
But we don't control the world,
I know you don't.
and so we do the best we can, and we've actually done pretty well over the years, and even currently doing very
Yeah,
well.
it's just a little crowded on Van Emberg. It's gonna be with
No,
this.
Van Emberg was always crowded. I lived off of Van Emberg.
Yeah, I know,
don't if you
that.
that,
Yeah, that's just a tough area.
I know.
I'm leaving on that note, but I'm just gonna, I know my time is up, and I know you like to throw me out sometimes, but
I never have thrown you out.
you
No
gave me
way.
14 seconds one week, but
I did, but you were at 14
It was
seconds.
15. It was
I'm
15.
It was 15.
I'm leaving, but
And
zoning.
if you want to tell Rosa next time her time's up, I'll give you my phone, that's
I
fine.
have your time, I'll give you my calendar. But zoning for the people on West Place, if you do something with the swim club, you have to change the zoning. Rent, you have to do something.
I think it would depend upon what's going to be
There's a
done.
lot of factors about it.
There's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
out-of-town zone,
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah, I
just a
know,
matter
yeah.
of.
There's a lot of variety of
Somebody
things that
can
can
pick up
happen.
on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, okay.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up?
Julianne Lipnick, 184 Finnerty Place. In reference to Rose's comment about the mail, you might want to check with Josh Gottenheimer's office. There is already a complaint that has been posted there because of an issue.
About our post office.
About our post
What was the
office.
issue?
What's that?
What was the issue? Do you know?
About half of my daughter's wedding invitations that were mailed out of that post office were never received.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, it is. And I'm not the only one. Apparently, our post office is a training ground.
Yes.
And people over on Cleveland, on the other side, they have found mail, bundles of mail in the woods. I mean, it's really a problem. So we
Okay.
got together and we lodged a complaint down at Gottenheimer's office, and they're apparently looking into it.
And I will inquire with the postmaster.
Okay, that's number one. The other is with the new situation over at what used to be Food Town, is now Fresh Grocer. I'm just asking council to follow up because ShopRite is not really aware of our quiet laws, and they've been having trucks come in at all hours. We are directly across the street from the loading docks. We hear them, and they sit, they idle. So if you could follow up and just tell them that there is a quiet law and to please respect it for purposes of the neighborhood.
Okay, I do know the manager over there, and I'm sure the mayor will also put a note in with them, so, but thank you for letting us know, because we would not have known that.
The other is.
We'll also ask the police to follow up with them during the night.
Thank
if
you.
they
Yeah,
see it.
thank you. You know, when I travel to work every day, I make the left-hand turn onto Washington Avenue. For about 2 months now, at both bus stops, there is an unmarked black coach bus that stops at both bus stops on Washington Avenue. It is not your traditional coach. It does not say New York City.
I think it's the hip.
Nothing. It
it's
is
the hip bus.
unmarked.
Yeah, it's the hip
It's
bus.
the
It's the
new.
hip bus.
It's the hip bus.
What's the hip bus?
It's a new commuter opportunity that goes
Okay.
into New York, and what it is that it's an app on your phone, and you can reserve your seat on the bus in the town, so you have a guaranteed seat. And the mayor diligently worked with the hip, is it the hip bus company?
Yes.
To get them to offer additional options to our residents who are commuters,
Okay.
and that's what that bus.
So it's in conjunction with the regular bus line?
No,
that-
it's on its own. It's
No,
its
no,
own
but I'm
company.
saying, so now there's two bus
It's an addition,
lines
yeah.
that are, okay. Today, for example, was a nightmare. The black, and then 2 cars from my side, we made the left turn, and then the other bus was directly behind it. If you had seen the bottleneck at that intersection with 2 buses, it was horrific. I pity anybody behind me that had to get through. So thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up? Motion to close public session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Adoption, second reading. Ordinance number 20-02, an ordinance amending the Chapter 15 of the Code of the Township of Washington, eliminating fingerprinting as a requirement. Yeah, where is it? Just read this one? Okay. Okay. Okay, resolution number 20-168, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 20-02. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
Do roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman DeSena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Council President Feeney?
Yes. Would anybody like to come up and speak on the fingerprinting? Yes.
Mary Ann Osmond, 960 Adams Place. The one thing is, you said, Mrs. Feeney, that everybody, all volunteers,
And,
to deal with our children.
and also town employees, yes.
May
That's
I
correct.
ask, do the teenagers who work for Summer Rec, they wouldn't be fingerprinted, would they?
I believe it's 18 and over.
Is it 18 and over?
That's
That
what.
is not correct.
Oh, it's not? I thought it was, that's what we were told by,
I mean, I was just curious.
Mr. Fidi, there's been 2 court cases that JIF has filed that all the children in Summer Rec, all the volunteers of Summer Rec will have to be background checked also.
so that's new information, because that's not what we were informed with
Because a
previously.
couple programs were held up because their towns refused to issue, so we need to look into that, Ken.
So I think
They didn't
that-
start the programs, Mike.
What's that?
They didn't start the programs.
They didn't start the programs because the children, I believe it was, we were sitting with them at the GIF dinner in January, and both towns' summer rec was delayed because the children had not been background checked. The children volunteers had not been background checked. So we need to talk to Mr. Fedini about that. He was at
Because
the
Mr.
table.
Fedini did inform us that it was 18 and over.
We were at the, Steve and I were at the same table with the two towns.
Should I postpone the vote?
Yeah,
I know, I think we should post-
take the hearing, let people talk, close it, and then
We'll
defer.
postpone the vote, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to,
No, no, I understand. I still think people should be fingerprinted. I know the ambulance corps is fingerprinted.
okay.
They get fingerprinted. I would think, now I know teachers, the police, now the nurses, they do. It's what I thought also, nurses. I mean, I know I guess there are some towns you people must have looked into other towns.
Other towns are not fingerprinting.
How many did you look into? How
I
many
know
towns in our
Hillsdale
area? I mean,
isn't, Riverville isn't,
And
is Westwood isn't?
Wasn't.
Westwood is
wasn't
not.
also.
I did not look into personally, but we did get information back that
I
Westwood is
believe it was
not.
because we were informed here.
By
that,
Mr. Fedini.
By Mr. Fedini, that it's only for identification purposes and not for criminal, the fingerprinting piece of it. Doesn't add any value to it other than.
It doesn't add, so what we were told was, and we actually are gonna bring Mr. Fedini in again to confirm, is that it does not add another layer of criminal background
then why
check.
do we do teachers and why do we do?
Because
Those do, I believe those-
fingerprinting, what it does is, it says that this fingerprint belongs to Stacy Feeney. It confirms your physical identity.
Right.
It doesn't add another layer to background checks.
And you had made a statement when you were talking about that people had to go to a specific place to be fingerprinted?
Yes, I believe it's
How come
in-
our police couldn't fingerprint?
Even the police, they go to Atwater Lane. It's in
We
Garfield.
don't have
I
the
believe,
equipment
correct?
here, we used to.
Well, I don't know if, it doesn't do
It's a sta-
background
it's a-
check.
They do, one company is sanctioned by the state, and they do fingerprinting for
Right.
all different government agencies. Like
Right.
I have to get my fingerprints twice, basically, one for my teacher certificate and one for my medical license. They can't even use the same guy, same finger, but I have to go twice and pay twice.
Right, that's correct.
And that's just the way I do it,
So
because they don't
we
share
can-
their information with each other.
And they can take fingerprints, but this is where they go and they do the actual check.
Okay, because I wasn't sure, because the way you said it, it was like we didn't have the information here that we can actually do it here or something. for
We can,
people.
it's state sanctioned by this one for this one company. So
Okay,
we
so then
cannot, we don't do
you
it
really
here.
don't think that this is a necessary situation at all? I mean, it just seems that everybody, teachers all have to be, and all these other people have to be, and the police, and, I mean, I don't know about the fire department in this town, but I know the ambulance corps, my daughter had to be when she became an EMT and all, so it just seems very strange that we're just not doing it. Okay. Thank
But
you.
we're not the only town not doing it, and we are trying to,
How many towns did you actually check? I mean,
at
I'm
least
just
5 or 6
curious.
towns.
In
In the immediate area.
Well, that doesn't mean just because this is the immediate
No,
area.
no, but
that
if
these
you're
people
asking
are-
like for a reference, like where we checked.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Would anybody else like to come up?
I'm just curious.
Mr.
Who-
Conti?
Yes.
State your name, please.
Anthony Conti, 490 Ridgewood Boulevard North.
Thank you.
If we're not doing the fingerprints, which is most likely the way it's gonna go, who does the background check? Who does check the social security? Who checks the drug?
That's another company. I believe for like Little League, the Major League Baseball has a company, correct?
Literally, we use Nexus Lexus or this other program, and we submit all their criteria online, and we get a report back to when everybody's cleared.
And that's
Mr.
past
Tovo,
the-
who is it for us?
We have a number of choices. LexisNexis will be one. I believe E-Verify is another one, so there's a couple of options.
Yeah,
It's an outside firm.
It's an outside firm that,
Yes.
that does everything. And just to clarify, so when they fingerprint for baseball or...
we don't fingerprint for baseball.
Well, all right, for whatever sports they were fingerprinting, all they did was identify the person with the fingerprint?
No, that's
They-
all the fingerprint does. It's not that we're choosing that to have the fingerprint do that. That's what the fingerprint does. It's not that we're saying.
There's two issues. The first issue is when you take a fingerprint, you verify who you are by
Right.
the fingerprint.
Right.
The second separate issue is you take that name and the data, and then you take that data and you input it into a database, and they check that name and the address, social security number.
and
So it's
driver's
two
license.
separate
And driver's
things.
license.
Okay.
Right.
That's the
So they join it together.
you
All
can
three
join together.
things
So
get
what,
joined together.
what the township is choosing to do is not to verify that that's you. We're verifying that the information that you give, Steve Cassio, and you take that information with my social security number, and you run the background check through
No, they do
their.
verify it off the driver's license, social
Well,
security
yeah,
number.
well, if that's
They do.
if that's
But
a
if that's
true.
the information you
That's the information,
provided,
whatever information
that's
you
what
give,
they
that's what they're
verify.
looking for.
Okay, so.
It's two,
Okay.
but it's two completely
separate
separate
issues.
activities.
I got you,
Right.
I got you. So what I'm now, guys, do whatever you want, but what I'm hearing is we're trusting the criminal to give you the right information. We're not taking his finger and saying, okay, yes, it's Michael, or, oh, yes, it's Mr. Steve Cassidy. They're not doing that. They're trusting, it's like giving a criminal a gun and saying, but don't buy bullets.
I don't know if I would make that exact
Why?
analogy. A
Why?
gun?
Because you're trusting the criminal.
No, I don't think I'd use a gun as an analogy.
Well,
That's all
any
I'm saying.
analogy. What analogy would you like to use? You're trusting a criminal to give you the correct, truthful information. In my background, in my experiences, criminals usually don't do that. They usually give you bad information.
Again,
Personal-
Mr. Conti, if the best management practices are in effect, that no child is ever left alone with an adult, and we follow the protocol of what we're supposed to be doing. You know, when we're at summer rec, there is never supposed to be a one-on-one situation with any of the counselors and the children. In baseball, there is never a situation where we have more than one, we're not supposed to be one-on-one unless they're on our children. So, again, we can come up with all the scenarios we want. The best thing we could do is run the background check, which we've done always in baseball. The town is gonna start, so it's a good start, and that's all we could do.
I got you.
I mean, to ask the volunteers of more time to go down to Paramus or Garfield to go get a fingerprint, it's gonna give me the same information, because I have, you know, we have to think that again, if we follow all the protocols, that criminal should never be alone with a child. So that alone should say, God forbid it happens, that's a problem.
And it is a photo, it's a photo driver's license, and it's the social security
All right.
card.
Look, I'm not saying don't do it.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying that the information that they're providing are also state-issued and government-issued IDs. So there is another layer to that also.
Okay, great. And I'm not saying don't do it, but, and to your point, I coached basketball for some years, Mr. Dorso. I did what I had to do, baseball. On more than one occasion, I've had a kid come up to me, Mr. Go, coach. I was alone. He was alone. You know,
It happens. It does happen.
There's a trust
Yeah.
factor between a coach and a kid. I'm just saying that, you know.
But we should never be alone in a room or anywhere by ourselves.
All right, you know,
That's,
Anyway, that's
thank you.
just my 2 cents.
Do I state my name again?
If you don't mind, Rosa, please.
Rosa Damba, 423 Colonial Boulevard.
Thank you.
One question regarding this. Our volunteers that are 18 and younger, what happens with them? Are their parents going to be at this, I'll call it a sitting, where you take this information? And because we do have some.
They would fill a form out and submit the form.
What was that?
They fill a form out and submit the form.
And then what happens?
It goes to the town, and the town does the background
Does the
check.
parents have to sign it?
You know, to be honest with you, I haven't seen the form. I don't know.
I mean, since they're under 18.
I know, I agree. I'm asking.
I mean, what happens to all this information while they're still not 18?
I'm asking
Who
Mr.
keeps this?
Well, the town is going to keep it, and it's going to be in a secure file location. That has been previously discussed. So the information is not going to be, it's going to be in a secure filing cabinet. Mr. Tovo is going to be in receipt of the information. I haven't seen the form, so I do not have the answer to if the parents have to sign the form.
Well, again, this is the first time we're hearing that coaches under the age of 18
that's
are going to
Mr.
check. So
Cavini.
we'll check that with our risk consultant, and we'll have an answer.
Okay. So I don't think we have an answer to that exact question, but if you'd like, I can get back to you on that.
So, I mean, the parents, how do we know that all right, anything that they sign or put it on paper under 18, don't the parents have to sign it?
Again, we're going to check to see what needs to happen in that regard.
Now,
I
are the
don't have an
parents
answer for
going to know that they're going to be volunteers? This is another thing.
I believe since they would have to, I'm going to they have to get to the practice, they would either need to be driven and the parents need to be approved, and I talked to the coaches.
Because we
but-
have to protect these children, 18 and under.
Yes.
The volunteers, they're not necessarily volunteers, all of them. Some of them are paid positions, and they do have to have working papers, and they do have to have all of that kind of stuff as well. So the parents do have to sign off on that.
Well, even with working papers, the parents have to know about it.
Correct.
The parents
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what she
sign
said.
That's
for
what I'm
working
saying.
papers, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you can't work for, a child under 18 can't work for the township without working papers, so they have to have their parents
So
in.
the children under 18 and under, do they only live in town or they come from other towns?
I can't answer that.
As volunteers?
I believe it's both situations.
It could be
Do
both.
they have to live in town?
I
Not
don't, no, they
necessarily.
don't have to live
No.
in town, no.
No.
Okay.
No,
I would be careful about that.
thank you.
Thank you.
welcome.
Would anybody else like to come up? Motion to close public session for.
So moved.
Oh.
Second.
I
Aye.
have an- Okay. I would like to actually put forth a motion that we postpone the vote until we get the answers that we need to move forward on this ordinance.
Can't we move it forward if we have to revise it, at least get it going?
I know, but I think some of the answers Mr. Fedini gave us, I think were maybe incorrect, Mike, so I'm a little bit worried about.
Yeah, but I would like to proceed, because we're gonna miss another season if we don't proceed tonight.
We can amend it if anything.
Yeah, we could always
Okay,
amend
all
it,
right,
right?
so, okay.
We're going to proceed whether you do the ordinance or not. We don't need the ordinance to proceed necessarily.
Okay,
So
that's
we're
fine,
going to
Mr. Mayor.
proceed.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I would proceed if it's okay with you, Mrs. Feeney.
Yeah, I mean-
Proceed, and if we have to amend it, we amend it. I mean,
Okay, so we're okay, everybody, Councilman, you're okay if we have to amend it, and Councilman? Okay, all right, good. Motion to adopt ordinance number 20-02 at second reading by title.
We have to take a roll call for closing the hearing first.
Oh, so, why, we did an all in favor.
We said all in favor.
We did an all in
We said all
favor.
favor.
Sorry,
Can, okay. I just want-
We'll take a
All in favor?
All right, I just want to make sure.
You may not have heard.
What's that?
You didn't hear the all in favor?
I did say aye.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so an ordinance,
motion to adopt.
right, motion to adopt ordinance number 20-02 at second reading by title. Okay. Sue, roll call.
No, I need a motion.
So moved.
So
Oh,
moved,
sorry.
second?
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Introduction, first reading, ordinance number 20-03, an ordinance changing the name of the Department of the Municipal Facilities to Department of Public Works in the Code of the Township of Washington. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 20-03 at first sight reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Resolution number 20-169, authorizing publication of ordinance number 20-03 and schedule a public hearing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Sue, vote.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. So that'll be at next week's. Or, okay. Okay. Individual resolutions. All the following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from consent agenda. Resolution number 20-170, payment of bills from February 14th to March 2nd, 2020. Resolution number 20-171, approval of certification list of qualified volunteer members of the Township of Washington Fire Department, year LoSAP 2019. Resolution number 20-172, approval of certification list of qualified volunteer members of the Township of Washington Ambulance Corps, year LoSAP 2019. Resolution number 20-173, authorize refund of engineering escrow block 4507, lot 5, 113 Fern Street in the amount of $357.50. Resolution number 20-174, authorize refund of engineering, soil, and performance bond escrow block 2502-01, lot 17.02, 2 Rose Court in the amount of $3,229.35. Resolution number 20-175, authorize refund of engineering escrow block 2103, lot 3, 674 Beechwood Drive in the amount of $261. Resolution number 20-176, authorize refund of engineering and soil escrow block 4417, lot 24, 191 Walnut Street in the amount of $289. Resolution number 20-177, authorize the advertisement for bids for basketball courts at Memorial and Gardner Fields. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Can we remove 20170 and 20177?
Sure, bill payment and 177. Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote on the rest.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, bill payment list. Which one would you like to talk about?
Have we gotten, I know the previous councils have asked, has our, Mr. Tova, I guess this is directed to you, has our grant consultant given us a list of grant opportunities that we are, reviewing, and, how many he's submitted on to date and how many we've been successful with, and what's in the pipeline and so forth, because we haven't seen anything, and I know we were asking for it, and I know it was a little early last year because you just got involved with them.
Yeah,
But- and
last
we're
year-
into March. We're into March now, so I'd like to see, is there an April, deadline that we need to meet for possible grants? Is there a June, May, every month of what's available, what he thinks or she thinks we should be, looking at?
No, I'm glad you bring that up. We're really starting to roll into grant season now, so I asked the grant writer to have a report prepared for the next meeting. But there are a number of grants that he is going after on the fire side and open space.
Okay. And the other, so you want to vote on that one if anybody else has questions on the bill?
We should do the two together in
The
the
list is
end.
the list.
Okay. Is there any reason it took 3 months to re-advertise that, Mr. Tova, the basketball courts?
I do, actually, there were some changes to
Do we
the-
know what those changes
Yeah,
were?
they were in the packet. I believe they were in the packet.
They were in our packet?
Yeah.
I must have jumped past them. Do we know where they were, Stacy?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my packet,
Yeah, Susan Witkowski memo, page 2.
my packet's out of
Look
order.
at the email from Paul Azalina to Mr. Tovo.
Yeah, I requested for that email to be put in the packet, just,
Do we know, I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
Just before the conference,
Conference
just
agenda.
before the conference agenda. Should be like one of the
Just
last
before the
things.
conference agenda.
yeah, so, it's like the fifth page for the conference agenda.
Public Service was kind enough to remove several trees and save us
I see, I found it.
from cutting them down and the cost of that, so it had to be rebid. Typos.
I mean,
And the
does that really
sidewalk
take,
was
does that really take 3 months to revise? I mean,
Well, it doesn't matter, it is, we have it now,
I'm
it's
sorry,
going out for bid.
excuse
but the intent was, when we rejected it in December, was to get it out right away so we can get better numbers.
That's
And-
why I had Sue reach out to Mr. Tovo to find out what the situation was, so we were all informed prior to the meeting, just so we had the information.
And there's also a new deadline of June 30th for completion.
Yeah, but I thought we agreed when we rejected them to, go right back out to bid, and if these five items took 3 months to revise, we're in deep trouble. I mean, it's unacceptable, and I think we need to, it's taking out a couple trees and, changing a number from 5 to 9. We didn't redesign anything, we just, dotted our i's and crossed our t's, which should have been done in the first place. but it's just disheartening that we had a great opportunity to get this done right away. Hopefully, you had the contractor out there at the end of this month, and now we won't even have the bids back by the end of the month.
No, I think we could probably push for, can we put a deadline on the bids, Mr. Tova? Maybe for the 15th of April and then have work started right away?
Yeah, Mr. Aslan has a pretty short turnaround on this,
Okay.
so they're planning time to meet the June 30th deadline.
So June 30th, I mean, I know school will just be out then pretty much.
No, it's got to be done by June 30th.
No, I'm just thinking like for use, like then they're not gonna have the courts, so, okay. But could you update us, could we add this to the project tracker? Is it on the project tracker?
What's on the tracker is the update as to the new deadline.
We just, okay,
So we put out the bid, that'll be updated with the bid date.
thank you.
So Mr. Tova, just so the new deadline for the project to be complete is June 30th.
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mrs. Payne.
Okay, are we good to vote, or
I'm okay.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has.
anybody else have an item? Okay, so I'm motion to vote on, hold on, wait, I lost my page.
You still have one off, right?
170 and 177.
170, 177 still off. I mean, 170,
Which is
okay.
170 and 177.
Yes.
So we're just gonna vote on those two items.
Yep.
Yeah,
You voted on the others already?
yeah.
Okay, yes, yes, okay. I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's okay. Okay, may I have a motion to vote on resolution number 20-170 and resolution number 20-177? May I have
So
a-
moved.
Second. Super.
Okay, my choice.
You choose.
My choice. Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Kohen.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan. Yes. Council President Feeney.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, adjourn to conference agenda. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody need a break? Okay, just asking.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay,
between the
let's-
agendas.
Okay, we're gonna have a 5-minute break. Business, administration, project tracker. Mr. Tovo, you're up.
The only update since the last presentation of the tracker is what was previously discussed on the basketball courts and the extended date for completion. So if there's no other questions, I know there's one thing on the list here that's covered by the tracker, but I assume we'll deal with communications and radios when we get to that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on the tracker?
Mr. Tova, where are we with the property easements and the acquisitions?
That was my question.
Have we reached out to all the homeowners that are affected, the two of them?
We have, and we've made, I would consider substantial progress on all fronts.
With both homeowners and the Seasons property owner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have the Boswell space needs analysis? Can we get a copy of that for the next meeting?
We don't yet have it, so as soon as we have it.
We
you'll
don't
see
have it? Okay.
Okay, the second item has actually been moved to closed session, so we're going to skip over that one. PSE tree replacement. I'm on a,
PSC&G tree replacement.
no, conference agenda.
The other one was moved to,
PBA contract.
PBA
PBA
contract.
contract got moved.
Oh. Sorry. Sorry, we had a change. PSE&G tree replacement. We were gonna get an update on timeline for them putting the trees back that they took out.
Yes, we anticipate this project will go through the remainder of 2020, likely into early 2021. They're anticipating spring of '21 when they would do the landscaping and the replanting.
So nothing this year.
Correct.
Could you reach out to them, let them know that, you know, we would like it.
Keeping an eye out.
Yes, please, because I think that that's not acceptable, in my opinion.
Did they give a reason why they were waiting so long?
They simply want to do all the landscaping and planting at the same time.
Do you have that in an email, or was it a phone conversation?
That was a phone conversation.
Maybe if you wouldn't mind emailing them and reiterating the conversation to confirm that this is what they're saying and this is what they say they're going to do?
Will do.
Thank you.
And Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, they want to do it at the same time for all of the towns, not just us.
Right.
Correct,
So, yeah, so.
I just want to make sure
yeah.
they,
Mr. Tovo, one quick thing. How is the pile of leaves going at Sherry? Are we almost empty?
It's gone.
Oh, it is gone now? Okay.
Yeah, it has been.
Okay.
okay, council, ordinances and legislation, street opening permits. The first one is 85 Salem Road. We already heard from the homeowner. Would be okay with allowing this to happen since he's had a long wait. Does anybody want to discuss this? Councilman DeSena?
Are we voting on one at a time or both of them?
Well, I think if we agree on both of them, fine. If we want to
Are both of them ready? Like, I guess the gentleman didn't say, like, if he got gas tomorrow morning, would you be able to turn on a furnace and heat your house?
Everything hooked up. I've been waiting for months.
Okay, that's all. So if you got gas tomorrow morning, you could turn your furnace on and heat your house?
Tonight I can turn it on.
Okay, that's all. I'm okay with it.
Is the resident from 731 White Birch Road here?
No, I don't see him.
No.
I'd be okay going with 85 Salem Road since they're here.
All right, let's vote on 85 Salem Road.
So moved.
Why not
Second.
why not the other one?
Because I don't know if he's ready for a furnace or not. I mean,
There is a,
He says in his letter he's ready.
there is a letter in here.
And it's a very nice, complete letter, and he can't proceed with his painting, tiling, or sheet rocking either.
all right, thank you, Mr. Cumming. I thought that was 85 Salem Road.
No, it's, there is another one.
Okay, I got
He's a nice
it.
young
Oh,
man that
sorry, it's
appeared
okay.
before us at 731 Birch. Mr. de Blasi, who's also a coach, you may know him.
Yes, no, I got him confused, that's why.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to put a motion, oh, go ahead, sorry.
You just, is that a curb to curb, or is that a patch when they do that, Mike?
I think they're both.
It depends on what they have to do.
Okay.
It could be a hole, and then they use the old line as a sleeve, or if they didn't have a service, they'll have to go all the way across.
Okay.
May I suggest that although we're only 30 days from the April 1st due date, I'd like to show goodwill by...
I think we should vote.
I hope we get a positive vote on this.
So I'd like to put a motion to vote.
'Cause their construction's being held up.
To allow the roads to be opened. Second?
Second.
Sue, roll call. Please, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman DeSena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Council President Feeney?
Yes. You're all set.
Good, turn your furnace on. Now get public service to come
We'll
through.
run the weekend.
Yeah, go call, you can start calling them now.
Can I get an email so I could send it
Absolutely.
over? When can I get that?
Probably first thing in the morning. Does that work?
Is that
We'll
convenient?
reach out, because it comes out of my office. We'll reach out to public service and let them know that you were approved.
Okay.
You know, I understand there's gonna be other things that are gonna have to be done before they actually do it though, so. you know.
But you
I
have,
will make a
you have
phone call
permission from the
that's been
council.
All right, thank you.
And my contact information is on the website if you have a problem.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
And this will be on YouTube within, what, 2 days?
This will be on YouTube when the VP happens right
So tell public
away.
service to go to YouTube and watch it. So I don't know what more we can do for you, except I'll get out there with my 3-foot Stilson myself.
I don't know what to do either. They've been, since October.
Go get him. Go get him.
Go get him, you
You're
got
a
it.
good consumer, like all the rest of us.
Have a good night.
We've done everything we can do for you.
Okay.
And I think Mr. de Blasi gave his phone number.
Yes,
Who gets to call him?
Sue does.
I will call him as well. So both of them,
They're good to go.
you're putting both together then?
Yes, ma'am.
I shall reach out to him as well.
Okay. All right, the next item is the plastic bag ordinance for review. Mr. Poller.
Well, you got it.
I'm actually fine with it. I think it fits the needs of our town. I don't think it's, harsh. I think it's reasonable.
And it certainly is the recommendation of Green Team.
Yeah, right.
So if the council has that, is all in agreement, then we can put it on.
Anybody have any comments on it?
Introduction next time,
I'd like to put it on the,
for introduction.
for introduction for the next meeting. I'm good with the ordinance.
Did
As is?
did the mayor, Stacy, did you and the mayor reach out to Food Town and see how they would handle?
We already had a discussion with,
Yeah, I reached out a couple months ago, and the manager there said he knows it's coming at the state level, so he's fine with whatever we do in the town also.
and the good thing for the businesses, Councilman DeSena, is that there's a 3 to 6 month exemption period in case we have like a major changeover or something's going on in the town that we can grant to the businesses too, on a case-by-case basis.
My only thing is I wouldn't want our ordinance to be more restrictive than the state when it comes down. I wouldn't ask for that. If the state deems something to be okay, I would want it to be less, no more restrictive than the state.
So I think if
So-
the state comes in with one and lighter than ours, we can always amend it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You know, don't want to put a burden on the taxpayer or the establishments either. So.
Another idea, maybe we can get with the green team to buy in bulk, reduced cost, non-woven recyclable bags.
Yes, they're looking to buying them in quantity, and also I believe they've applied for a grant to try and defray the cost.
So let me know, because the company I work for actually imports them.
Oh, okay, good.
So we can probably get them at a good cost.
Okay, thank you.
I had two questions on the ordinance. Where is the 10 cents going for the fee request? Is that part of that going to, that was my question of how we reached out and came up with the 10 cents per bag, if they make it available.
I believe it goes to the business, it goes to like Food Town or it goes to the establishment.
But a lot of towns, if you look at, there was a cost sharing that they would give back to the green team. So that's what my concern, that was what my question was. Were they willing to give some of that 10 cents back to the green team to offset their bag purchases, which a lot of towns did? So I'd like to get a little more information on that. And then, Mr. Pollard, the other question I had was the fines. Who would be administering the fines? And what would the...
It's the code enforcement.
Yes, but where is the money going? Is it going to the code enforcement official or is it going to the green team? Because it doesn't
No, it
state
doesn't go to
that.
the Green Team.
It's a fine, so I believe it goes to the town.
It goes to the town. Fines go to the town.
If you would like, we could actually,
Can we make it so it goes to the green team?
I think that's something that, a finance type thing about dedicating fines.
I think you have to cover the cost to the code enforcement officer, and maybe the remaining money could go to the green team then if the cost.
Well, I know a lot of towns, the 10 cents bag,
Right, no, yes.
they gave that to the green team. So,
Right.
I don't know how we do that, but I'd like to see that happen. And I'd like to see, since our code enforcement officer is paid for by the municipality without having to enforce this, if whatever fines he collects go to the green team, I'd appreciate that also. That's
I'd
just
like
my,
the cost to be covered, but then the rest to go to the green team.
we shouldn't be making too much money, but I'd just like to give it to the green team, that's all.
No, but-
So maybe we could reach out to the biggest, the two,
Well, Ridgewood's got, Promise is pretty stringent.
yeah.
It doesn't know if it said in their Promises, I can't remember if it said in Promises ordinance that the
I
money
know a couple of
goes.
the ordinances we looked at, it went
Yeah,
to the green team,
I don't know
so.
about Promise though. We haven't actually defined the fee.
Well, it's 10 cents. It's in the second paragraph, and fees for providing reusable bags and recyclable paper carryout bags.
I thought you were talking about the fine.
The fines are on the back page, but the,
Right, 25 and then,
No,
well, it's It's 50, 100, and 200.
No, Mike, are you talking about the money for the bags themselves? You're
Yes,
talking
the
about
10
fine?
cent, the 10 cents, a lot of towns have allocated, people do buy bags, a portion of that goes to the green team.
So I have
Okay.
last week's,
And then what about the fine itself?
Ken is saying it's got to stay within the town. I would like to see it all go to the green team.
It can be dedicated to the use of the green team, however, because in fair law and the litter laws go
All
into
go
a
to-
special
So I'd like to
fund
see
for
something
litter.
like that
Well,
if
that's what
that's
I'm
possible.
And I can show you an example. And then that's used to buy all sorts of things promoting litter-free.
Yeah, that's,
When would this go into effect?
well, we have to vote on it, put a date on it. I don't know, I'm thinking May 1st, in order to get, if we can adopt it. I think May 1st or June 1st. How many days do we have a requirement?
Plastic bags to
We
line
got,
up garbage cans.
next week, you have introduction of the application, next meeting to have a public hearing.
So that'll be
And
April.
Oh,
then,
yeah, they're
then
introduced, they have to have public,
So June
they have
first.
hearing, they
they
have
have
publication
publication.
20 days after.
20
So
days,
probably July
unless you pass an emergency resolution.
No, I think July 1st then, because,
Just to make that
In the
money.
meantime, you can find out about how to dedicate it.
Just
I just
make
need to
it
sign
buy
off by the
reusable
finance
bags.
department. You know,
Right.
I mean, I have no problem doing it, but, you know.
You take the money, goes
Ken,
in the bag,
Ken,
fine.
Ken, do you have to
think we
change
should.
anything in the ordinance?
No, I think you should introduce the ordinance because, you know.
Whether we
it's
change
only-
it or
It's only
not.
a small,
Maybe
you
it
know,
should be-
addition if needed. So I think,
Right, so it's gotta be, you wanna know about being signed off by finance.
yeah.
For the fine,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
and frankly, if we can find that out
I don't see anything, I don't see
in the
anything in
next
Glen Rock.
little while, maybe I can even put it in there in time for the introduction.
okay.
Because the introduction not gonna be for 2 weeks.
Well, even if we find it or don't find it, I'd like to see the money given to the green team, that's all.
All right, so let's,
We can move on.
So here in Glen Rock, just to compare, not to say I agree with it, all money is collected by retail establishments under this chapter shall be retained by the store.
Retained by the store, okay.
And then I thought Ridgewood,
One of them had it that it went to the green,
I don't think it's Paramus. I
Okay.
think it's,
All right, well,
You
let's,
know what?
we could always investigate it, but I'd just like,
Yeah. No,
I'd
but
just
we
like
have
to
it
see
for
if I can get
discussion.
consensus of the council to give it to the green team,
yeah,
that's all.
even if they don't have it, we can
Let's make
do
it-
it.
yeah, let's do
Right,
it.
We can do
Yeah.
it. We don't have to follow the lead.
Correct.
Be the lead.
Be the lead.
the only thing I didn't see, are the stores gonna give a credit for bringing it back?
Yes.
Not an hour.
It says you could. It says it's up to them.
Oh, they could, yes.
Yeah, it's up to
Okay.
them.
I'd like to, but I don't know, I guess we can't force them to.
Right now, they do.
They do?
Yeah. If you
Shop
do,
like
they
this,
bring.
whoever is in town.
Yes, they give you, I don't know, a couple of cents per bag that you bring.
5 cents per dog or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put it on for next. Okay?
We're gonna,
I would just like to also, I know this is, Sunday became a big thing in New York City. A lot of the vendors went into, they had like a 1-month grace period, but they bought 6 months worth of bags because nobody knew when the law was gonna pass. So they're gonna pay the fines because it's less than the cost of having the plastic bags. So could we maybe reach out and say, hey, Food Town, if you have 3 months of bags, we're gonna pass this in 3 months, because that's what happened. A lot of
If
those
they're
stores.
dwindling their supply, the code enforcement officer should not be issuing them a
Well,
I mean, I don't know if we can do that, but could we say the grace period
Yeah.
until like October?
Because that's when New York, that's why New York's didn't
I
pass
saw
Sunday
that
night,
on news.
because all the vendors were saying, I have a 6-month supply of bags, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay the fine because it's cheaper than the bags.
And some of them were shipping them to sister stores in
Correct.
other states where
Yeah.
there's no, yeah. Ken, what do you think? Can we do like a grace period until there's no new bags?
I think you could.
Okay.
Well, either that or we can reach out to Food Town and see what kind of supply they have.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'd
get it
like
for
to
the
do,
next
yeah.
meeting, get you the information.
I know, and.
I said Food Town, it's no longer Food Town, sorry.
I know. Has anybody talked to Dunkin' Donuts? Because that's all they don't have anything. I know it's been an issue.
I have not.
Okay.
But
All right.
since they get theirs from corporate, I imagine it's not going to be a big deal. They'll ship them to another store.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any other items on this? No? Okay. So next is zoning board candidates.
So it's going back to the drawing board.
We're gonna put it up, Mr. Cummings, we're gonna put it, it's gonna be a reading for next meeting, but we're gonna revise it.
Okay.
July 1st, yeah.
I know.
Careful what you say.
Okay. So, there's several candidates for zoning board.
Heavy drinking.
John Calandro, Paolo Cilia, if I'm pronouncing anybody's names wrong, I'm really sorry. Mr. Durso, Les Hanna, which I believe is currently a member, correct? Is he a permanent?
She is.
I'm sorry, she's
Yeah.
a permanent?
Yeah.
Okay. Sean Hobbs, Sean Mahoney, Mrs. Osmond, Tony Plantamara Rossi, Patrick Stamato Jr., and that's it. Would anybody like to discuss any of these candidates?
Sure. I want to discuss Les Hanna.
Okay.
She's been on the board for a term now, I believe. She's a former teacher, principal. She's lived in town for a very long time. I know her personally, and she's very fair in her decisions.
I've actually heard the same.
Yeah, she understands what a zoning board is. The zoning board only exists for one reason and one reason only, to give a variance, something that's outside the normal scope. That's all they do. That's their only job. And I think she would be one that would look at an application, be very, very honest and fair, and give consideration where consideration is due, but not to the extreme where it would be outside the makeup of the town, so to speak.
Fit the plan.
Yeah, if someone needed 6 extra inches for something, she would probably say that's acceptable. Not 10 feet, but, a little here and a little here. That's why we have this board.
Right.
So I would like to have her on there as a permanent member. I think she's very well qualified for that position, and that's my 2 cents on that candidate.
And in the same regard, I think Sean Mahoney, who is a very valuable asset to our town, he's currently a coach in our town. He's a project manager, he's managed people, he understands the value of our town. He's here with his young family, and he really only has the best interest, like Councilman Cassio said, as in keeping with the idea and fit of our town. So he's someone I am actually recommending.
I would like to, Mrs. Osmond, former clerk of our town for umpteen years, she brings a lot of, she up until not being reselected, she was the vice chairwoman of the board. She held that position for many years before. In her last, I served with her for 1 year. She brings a lot of historic knowledge to all the applicants. She knows a lot of history about the town. She knows the law. And one of the most important things you can have is somebody that knows procedure and somebody that knows the ordinances inside and out. And she brings a lot of skill set with that. And she's, very precise in her decisions while I was there and when I wasn't there. So I would like to see Mrs. Osmond, reappointed to the board, because, the board thought enough of her that all the men and women of that board nominated her vice chairwoman. And that's a high, It's like being council president, you know, it's a distinction given to somebody because of their skill set, and I think, you know, that's why I'd like to see her reappointed. Thank you.
And I'd like to talk about Mr. John Calandrillo. He's lived in the township basically his life. He's been here since 1974. He raised his family here. He has extensive experience in construction, owns and operates his own company, his own contract and construction business, very familiar with building codes, very familiar with procedures. He has the skills and qualifications. He's equipped, he's developed realistic plans and recommendations, recognizes townwide priorities. So I like to recommend John Calandrillo as permanent.
Do we want to hear from?
I would like to make another recommendation for Mr. Durso. Mr. Durso is a former councilman. As you can see, he's always here at the meetings.
Yes.
He does know the laws. Again, he's very, I believe he's very fair in his decisions, and I would like to see him as an alternate on the board. I think, you know, it would be a good person, because I know he might not be able to make it to all the meetings, but I know he follows pretty much everything, as you can see when he comes up here to speak with us with the open, so he's very involved. He knows every piece of property in the town, pretty much. So I think he would be a great addition to that board as an alternate.
So I'm going to put a motion for Sean Mahoney for a permanent member. I'd like to put it to a vote.
A second.
Do we just,
Yeah, just run it.
Sue takes vote, right?
Ready? Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
And I'd like to put a motion for John Calandrillo for permanent.
It was Mahoney.
Yes.
The Calandrillo. Okay, good.
I'll second the motion.
Councilman Casio.
No.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we make Marion Osment the alternate on the board, if that's okay. Do you have a motion? I'd like to make that motion. Anyway.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
No.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
No.
Council President Feeney.
No.
I make a motion that Les Anna be appointed to the zoning board for the
Alternate.
alternate term. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
I'll second the motion.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Councilman DeSena, the blade sign ordinance.
So at the last planning board meeting,
Excuse me one second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you have to do the resolution to actually appoint them all, or was that vote?
No, the votes were the
Well,
people,
okay.
you know, were the
Just wanna
votes.
make sure
So you
you're
just
covered.
You
fill
know, fill in the blanks on the,
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rather safe than sorry.
yeah, you know. And the way I have,
Okay, so my papers are now out of order.
no, I have it right here.
Okay.
so at the last planning board meeting, the blade sign ordinance, the blade signs being the signs above the doorway in the alleyway of the shopping mall.
Councilman, Ken, in the past, what we've done one resolution where we've made the.
She changed her mind.
No, I didn't change my mind, I had to think about this. In the past, we've done one, like, we've read off who's on there, and
Right.
then we've done one vote. So unless, I mean.
You can do that if you want to pass this resolution, you mean? Is that what you wanna do?
Yeah,
All right, go
as a
ahead, yeah.
whole, I mean-
It's all right, go ahead, you can do it, yeah, you can fill in the names and do it as a whole, you've effectively done it anyway.
Right, I mean,
But,
you know what, you did the vote, I'll do each one separately, and then we'll
yeah.
just, they'll have a vote,
that's-
let's do it that way,
That's
then.
really
That's
what
fine.
you should do.
That's fine.
Yeah, because each one was handled separately. I mean, normally you may only have one or two people and everybody says yes,
Yep,
but you have
yep, that's
differences
fine.
here. So
That's fine.
each person should be different, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll get it to
Yeah.
you, Stacy, to sign for the
Okay.
next meeting.
Sorry, Councilman.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Just want to make sure we're doing it right.
So the blade signs came up at the last planning board meeting, and the blade signs are the signs that are in the walkway as you walk past each store. They're above your head. And the ordinance now reads, as per the planning board attorney, that they all shall be of uniform color, like the old frontage signs used to have to be uniform.
Right.
They've already all been changed. There's a pink one.
Yes,
Dunkin'
I see.
Donuts has their color. So the planning board has asked us to have Ken look at the ordinance, to revise the ordinance, to give the applicant, or give the tenants the rights to have colored blade signs and not conform to one color. I guess it used to have to be blue and white.
Okay,
correct?
so is that the canopy signs?
No, the canopy signs are the front signs. They're the
Alright, so-
blade,
so wait a
they're
second.
called blade signs.
Well, I'm looking for
I actually,
blade.
it's funny, I couldn't find it
I
either.
couldn't find blade either. I looked for, when you got your email.
Mr. Azzolino, what's that?
Is those like the street signs that come out of the?
Yes, that come- yeah.
The building itself?
I couldn't
not-
find it in the ordinance, to be honest.
Yeah.
Are they called something else?
There's,
Mr. Azzolino said they were the blade signs, correct, Mr.?
well, that's probably a term of art, but I'm looking at section 194-4.1, which talks about the signs. I mean, all I have to do is identify what he's talking
Yeah.
about, but they talk about exterior signs, and then they say A is signs affixed within the area above each establishment.
That's it, that's it.
That's the one.
Above each
Yeah.
establishment. Okay, so that doesn't even talk about colors at all. The one that talks about colors is D, canopy signs,
The ones above the
which
store.
which says all canopy signs located in the pedestrian walkway
That's
frontage.
them, that's them, okay, that's
That's
them.
the one I think.
Yep,
Canopy signs.
yep,
So that's D of
Okay.
the Washington Shopping Center building shall not exceed 2.5 feet in length, so you want to keep that.
yep.
And shall be uniform in style and color. Should take both those
Both
out?
those out, yeah, because they already aren't, there are already 5 signs,
All right, so just leaving the 2.5 feet length,
Yes.
end of story.
yes.
Okay, got it.
So is that, everybody okay with that?
I'm
Is it-
good.
But how did they get the signs to begin with? They didn't have to get it passed?
Well, when Dunkin' Donuts redid their sign, for some reason, they
It
didn't
was
think
probably a
that-
replacement
Yeah.
for the original.
They
Yeah, they
violated.
violated it. That's my
Well, the
question.
reason it got caught was the new applicant came in with a green sign, and Paul says you can't have a green sign. She says, well, my neighbors have a pink sign, so why can't I have a green sign?
Yeah, she
And then
brought us
took-
pictures.
And she took a picture of every single sign down the walk, and I think 5 of them are multiple colors, not blue and white like the old ones were. So they asked us to, this way everybody's in
It's
conformance.
standardized with the ones overhead.
And then Mrs. Feeney, if I can continue about my veteran roadway names.
Yes,
So,
please.
one of the
I think-
things,
Wait, but I think we're all in
Are we all
agreement-
okay with
we're
the
all in
blade
agreement
signs?
with that we
or
don't
canopy
really-
signs, whatever.
They can have whatever
Canopy
color
signs,
they want.
canopy signs.
It's a free country.
Make it free color,
So,
yes.
Mr. Paul, you'll have something for
I'll have
us,
some,
meeting?
yep.
Okay, so could you add that to next? Thank you.
So, it was brought up at the planning board. One of my pet peeves as a engineer in my former life was roadways named after grandkids and family members when these developers build their roads. And a bunch of my towns passed an ordinance which the planning board asked me to bring back to the council of, in Waldwick, what we did is we had all the new roads named after veterans. And what we did is the VFW prepared a list of veterans that served the municipality, and they don't have to be fallen veterans. They could just be veterans that should be recognized by having a street named after them. So the planning board asked me to come back tonight and ask the mayor and council for their blessing, and Ken to prepare an ordinance that all development going in the future, any new roadway names will be named after the list prepared by the VFW in order of the list given to us by the VFW. So the intent is the VFW would find, let's say, 12 veterans and put them in order. And the next street that gets built in Township of Washington would be named after that veteran, and so forth. And we would have the VFW, I know Mr. Sears says he would be willing to get them to give us the list, so that's not an issue. He was ecstatic about this idea.
Is it resident, it starts with
It
residents?
starts with residents,
Okay.
township residents. It would be named after township veterans that deserve the honor of having a roadway named after them,
Okay. I'm
or
fine.
her.
I'm good with that.
So they asked if Ken can prepare the ordinance. The sooner the better, because we do have a lot of development coming, and we'd like to, not be behind the 8 ball, because somebody will say, well, I submitted my application, and
All right, so I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Just on in preparing, all right? So the VFW the chapter that serves Washington Township is going to maintain a list of veterans from Washington Township.
yes,
And you're going to have that list, and then...
we'll forward it to Sue, I guess.
And when subdivisions are approved and streets are created, you'll be giving names out in accordance with the list, right? Okay, so now the two things I just wanted, suppose there is no VFW preparing a list, or suppose there's nobody on that list, do you have a secondary thing that you want to put in there?
We
Or
could
not?
do fallen ambulance, firemen, we could do fallen volunteers,
No, fallen, you said
Well,
veterans, not fallen,
veterans,
not
they didn't have to be
not
fallen. Or we could do members, however the council would like to,
Fire chiefs or
or whoever, I mean,
Well,
people, distinction.
Yeah, my thought process also is, because I was thinking about that when I got your email, is to establish that, but then to create another category if there aren't those people, because you might want to decide that there's somebody who's been a tremendous volunteer in town, and maybe he passed away or she passed away, and you might want to commemorate that person.
Correct.
I think you might want the ability to have an exception. Or if a president dies, or somebody of great note that you might want to do something, you would give yourself a little bit of leeway. So I would think that, and I'm only throwing that out to you.
I'm okay,
Yeah,
I'm okay with either,
Okay.
Mr. Pollard, I just want to get the list
Yeah.
established.
Okay.
And the ordinance passed, because I don't want the developers to come and say,
Right.
well, you know what, it's
No,
gonna
I
be.
agree,
So
I
we
agree.
we could put the
Well, first of
ordinance.
all, we give it anyway, so we give the names.
Well, a lot of
Yeah.
developers are asking for.
Well, yes, but the council has to approve it.
Correct, so I'd like to just set
Yeah. All right.
a procedure that the VFW gives us names.
Okay.
Even if they give us the 12 names for now, I don't think we're gonna get 12 new streets in
Right. No,
Township,
I
even with all the
understand. I'm
developments.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking.
I appreciate that, yeah.
And I'm thinking also, right now you have a chapter that has them. I don't want you to be locked out if they're not functioning, don't have a list.
Absolutely.
Run out or something like that, so, okay.
Yeah, so maybe put a little caveat that if.
I'll have an exception where either they don't, if the list is not given to you, there is no list.
We can
or
use
for-
other-
Or for other reasons on a vote of the council that you decide you want to give it to somebody
I'm
else.
okay, as long as the rest of the
Is
council's
that all right
okay.
with everybody?
Yeah, I think if we get that in, and then if we need to amend it to add additional lists, I think that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Is that, Sue?
I know Mr. Sears said he would be more than willing to get us
I'll
the
have
list,
that, I'll have
right?
that for next meeting.
5 road?
Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate the council's support on that.
So
Um,
if something happens to me, I'm out.
Taking yourself out of the running.
Cassio Court?
No. Nothing.
Thank you, everyone.
Anybody want to second that? Okay, budget meeting dates set. So right now, we're Thursday, this coming Thursday from 6 to 8:30, and Monday, the 9th, from 6 to 10, and Monday, the 9th, we're going to be reviewing employees, part of the budget.
I'm okay with Monday. Like I said previously, I will not be available Thursday. so.
You can't do Thursday?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna, we're gonna strike Thursday from the calendar, and
I could do Monday, Monday's fine, and the Saturday after, if everybody's available.
what's that date? That's the 14th?
I have to get my old school calendar. Can we talk about that date maybe?
Maybe we want to just confirm after the meeting for the 4th. So potential date on the 14th.
You have time to advertise that.
Exactly. So we'll do potential date. And could we do a little earlier? Could we do 9 to 12
That works.
or 8 to 12? 8 to,
How about 10?
I can't do, I have something in, we only get 2 hours in.
I can do
You have all
9.
of my life, but I ask
You
not
know, you have to
to,
understand
not
that.
to get up in the middle of the
You don't need
night.
every council person here for every budget meeting, so.
Well, I'm
you can
trying to
run
get-
it. You can run it with 3, you can run it with 4. It would be nice to run it with 5. but
Would like to,
Again,
you know-
things do happen.
I would like to, make, so we'll do 9 to 1 on the 14th, but we'll confirm what, you can't do that.
I can't do the 14th. I can't do the 14th.
All days, Desiree?
All day.
Um,
So sorry.
What about any other day next week?
Do you want to do Monday and Wednesday next week? Is everybody available Wednesday?
Wednesday's the 11th?
I
I'm
can do
available the
Wednesday.
11th, that's
Wait,
fine.
wait, let's see, because you got planning and zoning.
Oh, yeah, you do have
Hold on,
planning.
hold on.
Yeah.
Planning is
That's-
this week.
Planning is this
So
week, yeah.
we're good on
All
planning.
right, let's just bring out the old
Get your calendar
calendar.
out.
I mean,
It might not be right.
the other caveat is,
The 14th is
you know,
Troublemaker.
just because the
Yeah,
room's
14th
being
is
used
out.
doesn't mean all the meetings have to be televised. You can always have it up in the conference room.
Okay, so,
You
but,
know.
but
Yeah, but I have
the,
no way to record.
Oh, that's right, there's
Yeah,
nothing
no,
up
so
there.
the 11th is open, so can we do 6 to 10 on the 11th?
How about, no, the 11th's a Wednesday?
Yes.
So as soon as I can get here, 7, because I teach that night.
Okay, so let's do 7 to 10 then at least. Does that work?
Oh, shoot, no.
No?
I'll be in Atlantic City, no.
Here we go again.
I take it back.
See?
Damn
Okay,
it.
I think we're just gonna table that for, so we can move
All right,
on.
then you know what, about we do the 16th, definitely no conference and just strictly budget.
Yeah, no, because it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, if we agree to it now,
Okay, so there would have to be, March 16th is our next council meeting. There would have to be no, well, no, we already said we have got 3 things on the conference
So just leave
agenda.
the 3 things. Do the 3 things and you, boom.
We've got the ordinance for Mike.
introduction.
Yeah,
That's not
okay, fine.
conference.
Then
gotta
no
make a commitment
conference,
not to-
no conference agenda.
No, we're going right
Are
into
we
budget.
all, can I have a motion?
Yes,
So moved.
so moved.
Can I have a second motion?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank God.
So what's the time?
16.
16th, we're gonna do, as soon as we're done with the,
3:16?
Well,
First-
so you want, can you start at 7 o'clock, maybe that night, instead of 7:30?
yeah, let's start at 7.
Can you all start at
7
7?
is fine.
Mike, seriously,
Can I
can you
get that
check before we say?
No, I'm good on Mondays. Mondays is easy.
I'm just kidding.
I only teach on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
7.
Hello.
And that day, I'm going to teach and go to Atlantic City for a presentation.
You guys are all.
That should be interesting.
That's the goal of the presentation.
Start
The
at
6th,
7 o'clock.
I am gonna
and
just
10.
reach out again and see if we can get another meeting.
No, that works. 16 works.
Because we have to finish now. But the 9th is we're going to finish all of the employees on the 9th. Okay, from 6 to 10.
So the 9th is still on?
The 9th is on, that is on, yes.
The Thursday off?
Thursday is
Thursday's
off.
Monday is
Thank
on,
you.
which is the 9th.
And we're doing, and
And the 16th?
Sue's gonna rice the employees for the 9th.
Good.
And it's going to be talking about their jobs and responsibilities.
Will we have that information for that night?
Mr. Tovo,
We will.
can we get that ahead of time to review?
Yes.
And
Yes.
also who,
The next time.
like,
This is the 16th.
John
The ninth
Smith
and the
is
16th.
And the 16th.
the mayor and the council president, like that he has got 2 jobs, like that. Could we? Thank you,
Same we did last year, yes, we can do that.
thank you.
But are we having a meeting on 3/5 or no?
We're not meeting on 3/5 now.
Okay.
On the 9th, what time, Stace?
6 PM. 6 PM.
6 to 10?
Yep.
Does anybody need a doctor's note or, no, a council note for?
For before or after?
During. All right, so we're gonna start the meeting on the 16th at 7 o'clock, so I will advertise that.
Yeah, everybody, can you please send up multiple reminders just because?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, miscellaneous. Mr. Castillo, we have the letter from the Township of Freedon School Board elections for,
Yeah, they moved the school board elections to the November election.
right,
And some municipalities feel that it shortchanges the residents' input into a school board budget. So this town, as you read the letter, they were wanting to switch it back because now the state allows you to do so. I don't know if there's a field for it here. I know there's a cost to the municipality. The change, I don't know if it would be a problem because now we have involved another municipality with our school board, with Westwood.
right.
I don't know what their feeling is, but I would, be open to it if there was a taste for it. So that's all, I'm just asking for consideration, and I'll reach out to the council president of Westwood, because I haven't had a chance to, and see if they had any taste for that as well. But I thought it's something we might want to do, because it does, it does make sense. You have a budget that runs from June through July. It doesn't coincide with any other one's budget. And I would like to give the residents an opportunity to voice their opinion on a budget of the school system.
Right. I thought the letter was interesting, and I did some research on this because a lot of it's, out there. And the cost per year to reintroduce the elections would be just for Washington Township would be $28,000 a year.
I know what it costs.
And, we've saved over the past 8 years over $224,000 by leaving the elections in.
I understand.
And then also, there is a cap on the approval because it's being handled by the other.
I understand.
For 2%, so,
I understand. But anyway, I'm going to reach out to Westwood, see what they feel, and then I'll bring that report back to you. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. I know there was a cost savings with the election portion, but again, it's good to give the voter a choice. Very few school boards, their budgets are ever knocked down, very infrequently. They always put a little extra in there, so in case it doesn't pass, but we have a unique situation since we are a regional school system. So, anyway, I'll reach out to them and I'll report back at the next meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody?
Let's move on. Next.
Yes. Anybody else have any other? Next is communication radios. We have an update.
We do. Our radio consultant met last week with the vendor or with Motorola directly in Jersey. You can't go through one of their dealers. You have to go directly to them. Motorola has made some recommendations on the design so that we have the ability to utilize the 700 megahertz and the UHF channels. As of right now, it's going to take them 4 to 6 weeks to work up their pricing and plan. And then we've scheduled a meeting with Motorola, the township, and the county to move forward on the next steps.
So when's that meeting set for? Or that you have to?
Not say yet. We have to get pricing back from Motorola, hopefully sometime mid-April. Get a meeting set up by the end of the month.
So when will we receive the consultant's report, Mr. Toho?
Probably once he gets the pricing from Motorola.
So once he gets that pricing, he will submit the council a report as per his contract, that will have a report with all the findings?
I think at that point, he'll be ready for a report for us to go to the county with. And then once we meet with the county, then we can finalize a report for the governing body.
Okay.
Because we need their input as well.
So it'd be a good thing if we check back in mid-April to see.
Yeah, I think so. We can update in mid-April, hopefully with a resolution by middle to end of the summer.
Does he have how long it would take to implement the new radio system? A rough idea, is it like 6 months, is it 3 months?
Most of the infrastructure is already in place. There's one more piece of infrastructure going in place on a county facility in April. So from there, the biggest delay will be the ordering and programming of our radios and the console and the PD. So of all those things, the console inside the police department would take the longest time.
The console, okay.
And how long, do you know how long that specific piece takes? Or no?
From start to finish, I would call it 3 months.
Okay.
Does the county have to do anything before you get the quote from Motorola? Do they have to be involved at all? Were there
No.
requirements? Because they're going to have requirements as well. So do we
They
have
do.
all those?
We've already clarified all their requirements.
Okay, so you just send it to Motorola and they're going to work it out?
We couldn't get to this point without already clarifying all of that.
Okay, that's my concern. The communication between Township, Motorola, and the county.
But now there'll be recommendations that come from this, from the consultant and Motorola, that will affect the county. So that's why all three parties will have to meet again.
Okay.
Okay, Councilman DeSena, you had wanted an update on the
Yeah,
household garbage proposal?
Mr. Tovo, way back last October, when we brought up the household garbage proposal, we were gonna go out to bid and then got stuck with some kind of state thing that we had to wait, so we didn't go out in January. The numbers that we have in the 2020 budget, were they just, did we get an informal bid from a hauler to put that number there, or where'd that number come from?
No, I surveyed towns approximately our size with similar number of pickups.
Okay.
And Hillsdale is a good example, has within a few pickups, same number that we do, virtually same size square mileage. Those are two of the biggest factors that go into pricing this. I looked at a few others that were also similar in size and pickups, and they're within the same
Are we still,
range.
so that number includes 2 pickups per week, or is that one?
Well, the only way we can go into this and come away with a fair number is do apples to apples. If we're only doing one now as the baseline, we need to go out to bid for one to see if we can afford one, or is there room to consider 2?
Because I've been like kind of gauging residents in town when I'm out and discussing it with them, and because of salt, a lot of residents in township are limited with their taxes, so we're at the $10,000 cap. So like right now, I pay waste management with my credit card and I get rewards points. So I'm getting something back. It sounds crazy, but you know what? It's
Every little bit.
Every little bit helps. But if we're gonna roll the same value into my taxes, I lose that.
But I think Buldo, they pay more than Waste Management, so that's.
But that's your prerogative, if everybody.
No, but I'm just saying, I think from perspective from town, Buldo people I know are paying more than Waste Management people are.
I don't know
No,
why.
I don't think so. I think it's the other way around, to be
No, it's
honest with you.
not. My parents have it, they have to buy the bag.
I have it as well.
And she pays $99, and then she only gets 1 pickup.
No, I think,
Yes, it is, I have the bill at home, I paid it.
Well, we're
Well,
not,
maybe it's different for you, I don't know.
we're not under any obligation to take these bids right now, so this is
No, but I was
just
just.
a fact finding.
But I know we were in the fact, but like, the problem is that it's a great idea when salt didn't exist to roll it into our taxes, because we got to write it off. But a lot of residents are saying if we're gonna roll it into our taxes and it's gonna be the same, then I think we have to look at negotiating with either both the vendors we have now and seeing if, because I'm getting less service from Waste Management than I did before they changed. I used to get 2 pickups a week. Now, you're absolutely right, Mr. Tova, I only get 1 a week.
But you don't have to buy the bag.
But I don't have to buy the bags. That was the give back.
give back.
That was the give back, which is great. But I've had Waste Management since we moved in 1997. So I used to be able to jam the bags where Buldo won't allow you to do that. I can
bags
make,
are small.
I can literally make the
want a
blue.
bag?
I used to make the blue bag into a metamorphosis. It would be, it'd be, stretched to a light blue when I was done with it.
And they used to come down the driveway, and now because my father's
They
sick.
don't come down. They don't.
Well, no, my mother had to request they have to come down the driveway because she can't, they
Yeah.
leave the cans at the top of the driveway too, where they used to put them back, and,
So I think one of the things is we really got to get some, firmer numbers, because to me, if I'm going to be paying the same thing I would on my own, then I'd rather keep my rewards dollars. That's just me talking,
There's
but
room to negotiate a better,
hopefully that's the way
Right.
There is, but we're not going to know now if a single hauler views this as a lucrative deal to be able to service the township and be paid by one source and not chase 3,000 different people or different households. We may see a nice reduction in what everyone pays, but until we put out the bid, we just don't know those answers.
yeah.
That's true.
Because I agree with you, Mike, if you don't see the.
If you don't see the savings, then why am I losing my rewards points? I'm being cheap, yeah, absolutely.
You're right,
It's
those
true,
are
but
all
there are
factors
some-
we have to weigh in.
And I guess one of the things I would like to see is maybe not, can we legally, Ken would have to find this answer, can we go out to bid, like, let's just say July 1st, and start at January 1st, but get a quote saying we're gonna start January 1st, so we can put it into next year's budget? because it's a lot of money. It's 500,000, it's
No,
480,000.
but, on the flip side, I've had a lot of residents complain saying they don't want to pay extra. They don't want to be responsible. They want it included with their taxes. Like, I've had a slew of residents say to me, this is something you need to get done. It needs to be
But I
included.
think they think they're
It
gonna-
needs to be included in our, no, they don't think, they know that it's going to cost them more. They've said it outright. They said they know it's going to increase their taxes. They're not saying they don't know that. They are basically saying that it should be part of our services available in town.
Okay, I hear you, but I'm just looking at it, like, to me, waste management is brainless. I have an app on my phone, they tell me when they're not coming.
I just don't think everybody
They collect
feels
my
the
money.
same.
No, but I'm just saying, like, so, but I'm hearing, like, the Bulldog, you have to mail in a check, you have to do all this other stuff. With waste management, I'm not selling waste management stock either. It's just, you get an app on your phone, and it literally texts you, hey, we're delayed a day because your pickup falls on a holiday, we're picking it up on Thursday, it's great. And they collect your money, easy pay, it's like, boom, it's out. And this, it's,
I agree. I'm trying to get my parents to switch it, and
yeah, so.
so.
All right, that was my comments on it.
And I don't know about the fees, but I do know what she pays. I see the bill. And I know, plus the bags, 1 or 2 bags a week, or
Yes, yeah, I don't, yeah, so.
and if it's
Go to Waste
snowing and you
Management.
don't have the bags,
What are we
it's,
doing about townhouses? The condominiums?
They're included.
What about, they're gonna pick up our dumpsters?
Yes.
All residential is included.
Yes.
so all the townhomes would be included
Correct.
also?
They are.
Yes.
So that would be a reduction in their payment we make to them every year for not picking it up right now.
Yeah, but our
Correct.
taxes would still, we would just go from our
No,
maintenance.
your maintenance
agreement.
fees would go up because now you're not getting that subsidy any longer. We subsidize your garbage
Yeah, that's
pickup
true.
right now.
We're gonna get,
I don't
I don't know if
I don't think
ours,
that's
no,
true.
no, ours don't. No, we don't get a subsidy.
I don't think it's subsidy for solid waste.
We don't get any subsidy.
Not
Yeah, they get a
Northgate.
payment
For solid waste?
they should get for garbage hauling and for,
I don't think
No,
for-
it's
for
not
fire
our budget.
hydrants and all
It's not
that.
in our budget.
Fire service.
You
Fire
pay
service.
Yeah,
for
but-
fire
and-
hydrants and street lamps.
Yeah,
You
but
do not
I
pay
don't
for
think solid
garbage.
We don't pay for
waste- I'm
garbage.
not- I don't believe so.
Wow, you're really
right.
ironclad.
100% true.
I believe that's correct.
I've never heard of such a thing, that's great.
Streetlights and fire.
Yeah, whew.
Well, for us, it would just go from
We pay
maintenance
for our
to
own
taxes,
garbage.
so it's really,
Fire hydrant.
Streetlights and fire.
That's all, okay.
yeah. I was gonna say, that's not on our budget.
It's not.
It's not, we just got that budget.
Okay, that's all, thank you.
Okay, so, I'd like a motion to enter into closed session. And there's,
So moved.
For the items of,
Stan is
Wait,
getting
hold on.
so old.
yes, the items
Just sitting here,
and the items are.
waiting so
Is it on the
patiently
different
for
sheet?
us.
COA update and
For
PBA.
co update, we have to get a motion. May I have a motion to enter into closed session?
So moved.
And the
Second.
items are COA.
About resolution number 20-178.
Right.
Okay. Resolution number 20-178,
So moved.
Wait, for the
Oh.
purpose of?
for the purpose of COA update and PBA contract.
So moved.
Second.
And we-
All in
we-
favor?
We
Oh,
may go
sorry.
back into public.
We may go back into bubble?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, shoot, I have to tell them upstairs. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If you want, or what we'd like to do, PBA first, because
Wait,
then we'll...
wait, just wait.
Sure.
Resolution number 20-182, PBA contract. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Sue, vote, please.
Councilman Calcio.
No.
Councilman Cumming.
Recuse.
Councilman DeSena. Sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
And Council President Feeney.
Yes.
And we need a motion to go back into close.
Yes. May I have a motion to go back into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mike,
Okay,
I'll
we're
vote
not
now.
off.
Okay.
5-minute break.